Hello everyone, what is up, and welcome back to a brand new video. So today I have all 50 of the states in the US, and I have gotten their flags, and I've recreated them in Minecraft. So I'm going to go through each and every state, and I'm going to show you how to make its flag in Minecraft. So starting off here, we have Alabama. You're going to get your white banner, your red dye, pop on into the loom, throw that stuff in there, choose the cross pattern, and there you have Alabama. Next up, we have Alaska. So in here, we have 3 blue dye, a blue banner, and 2 yellow dye. So we're going to pop on into our loom. We're going to throw the blue banner in there, throw our yellow dye in here. We're going to get this nice little diamond shape. Then we're going to get a blue cross like so. Next up, we're going to get like a little diagonal line going across like so. Then we're going to get our little star in the corner. I believe it's this one. And finally, just to deattach the thing, we're gonna get a border. And as you can see, that is the Alaskan flag in Minecraft. Next up is Arizona. And one more thing I want to mention is that if these flags are looking a little bit weird to you, it's because in Minecraft, it's taller than it is long. So we kind of have to imagine if the flag was turned sideways, that's how it would look like. So, anyway, we have Arizona here. We're gonna get our yellow banner in here. We're going to get our red dye, make a red cross like so, and get our diagonal X shape like so. Next up, we are going to get our blue dye, put it right here, like so. And finally, we are going to get our orange dye, which I think is supposed to be the sun, and that is Arizona. Next up, we have Arkansas. This one's really easy. We're just gonna get our red banner, put it in here. And actually, we need to get, I believe, the blue dye first, in that nice little diamond shape. And then our white thing in the middle, and that will give us Arkansas in Minecraft. Next up, we have California. I tried really hard on this one. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out looking too good. But, I mean, it's what we have to work with. There's very limited things you can do in Minecraft. Anyway, we have our white banner here. We are going to start, and it's important you do this in the exact order as me, or else you could mess up your flag. So we're going to start like this. You should have like a little thing in the corner. Now we're going to modify that thing. So, get our white dye. First, we're going to add these little spiky things to make it look more like a star. Then add a border to it so it's not attached to the corner. Where's the border? Here it is. And now we should have something that looks a little bit like this. Now we are going to get our red stripe, and then our brown thing, which is supposed to be the bear, but it didn't turn out too well. Alright. And we put in the bear, and that is California in Minecraft. Next up, we have Colorado. So, in Colorado, I'm employing a little trick where I put 2 of the same thing in the same position, but it's different dye. So as you can see here, it has like a little outline, and if you look at the Colorado flag, it's like a yellow outline and a red C. So unfortunately, I can't create the C, but I can make a circle, which is close enough. But anyway, to get that outline effect, first, of course, we have to put in the stripe, like so. But what we actually do is we put the white thing in first, and then on top of that, we put the red circle, and that makes a nice little outline for our Colorado flag. Next up, we have Connecticut. Connecticut is really easy. Literally just a blue banner, white dye, circle shape, and that is Connecticut. Next up, we have Delaware. This is pretty cool. I think that's the only flag that has a cyan banner. Anyway, we're gonna get our yellow dye in this diamond shape. Our red dye, circle. And that is Delaware in Minecraft. Next up is Florida. I'm also using this little outline trick I showed you back at Colorado. We're going to start by getting our cross. Or I'm not really sure what it is. It's like an X. Then we get in our brown dye, and then we get in our yellow dye, and as you can see, we have a nice little brown outline, so it looks more like the actual Florida flag. Next up, we have Georgia. This is another one where it's really important that you do things in the same way that I do them. So, if you don't do it in the exact same way that I do it, yours could end up incorrect. We're going to start off like so. We're going to get this like so. So you should have this right now, okay? Next up, the Georgia flag has like a really big blue thing on it compared to the other flags. So I kind of had to do it this way in order to make it look faithful. We're gonna get this thing Okay? This is where it becomes unique. And I believe it's the big one. Yeah, it's definitely the big one. Because there's also a small one that looks like this, but it doesn't look the same. Choose the big one. But then the Georgia flag has it like different. So it's like this. And that will get you your Georgia flag. Next up is Hawaii. This one was actually kind of tricky to design, but it's not tricky to build. So we get our red dye. We make it like, or actually no, we don't do that. We have to get the blue dye in first, like so. Then we get in our red dye. We have that nice little blue stripe. And then finally, to finish it off, we just have that little thing in the middle, or not in the middle, in the corner. I'm not really sure what it's called, but that just little sign thing. Next up is Idaho. This one's really easy. There are so many flags in the US that are just like a color and then like a dot in the middle. It's so weird. I wish some more flags should be just unique, you know, not like this. And I mean, not to offend anyone that's in a country with, or I mean a state with a boring flag, but I mean, come on. The least your state can do is make an interesting flag. Like, come on, Illinois, you can make a better flag than that. Alright, here's where it gets interesting. This is Indiana. We're actually going to get a banner pattern, a banner pattern flower charge. How you get this is you get an oxeye daisy and a paper, and you combine it in your crafting grid, and it'll give you this banner pattern, as well as a yellow dye and blue banner. We combine all of that up. We choose the flower thing right here, and that will give us our Indiana banner, and we can put the banner pattern away. Next up is Iowa. We're going to grab our materials. We're gonna head on over to the Loom. This one's pretty simple. Hey, at least it's better than the ones that are just one dot, you know? And that is our Iowa flag. This one's a little interesting for Kansas. So I tried to put in like the little thing. It has like text at the bottom that says Kansas. I tried to implement that. It doesn't look the best, but hey, I tried. Okay, so how we do this. We're gonna get our dot in the middle. Then for the text, we're gonna do this one. Okay, and it doesn't look anything like the flag right now, okay? Like, how do we get it all small? I'll show you how we get it small. We use our 3 blue dye to kind of like make out the shape that we want. We're gonna start off with a border. Then we get this and this, and that gives us our Kansas flag. Alright, and now we're back to the boring ones. Kentucky. Come on, Kentucky. But I mean, hey, it is redeemable because they do have some pretty good chicken. Next up is Louisiana. This one was really hard to design. They have a really unique flag. Anyway, there is a lot of stuff that goes into making this. So you're gonna need yourself a banner pattern flower charge, as well as a field mason, which is created by a brick block and a paper, as well as light blue dye, white dye, and a light blue banner. So we are going to start this off by getting our white dye and our flower charge banner pattern like so. Then we're gonna get rid of the flower charge banner pattern and put in the field masoned with the light blue dye. It'll give us something like this, which is going to be our Louisiana flag. Right, so Maine. What does it look like again? I don't want to mess it up. We get our yellow circle. We get our white dye right over here. Then we do the trick. We get the border, and we get the 2 ends. This trick is going to be used for a lot of flags, so it's important that you remember it. And there is Maine. This was perhaps the hardest one to make, but it is Maryland. There's a lot of stuff that goes into making this. You're going to need a field masoned banner pattern, white dye, red dye, black dye, and a yellow border. I know it doesn't look a lot like the Maryland flag, but like I said, Minecraft kind of limits us in what we can do, so we have to use our imagination here. We're going to get our field mason pattern with the black dye. It's going to give us a little something like this, that little checkerboard pattern. Next up, we got to get, it's like a, the flags are the hardest, like for example, the Panama country. It's like hard where it's like a thing, and then a thing, and then a thing, and a thing. Do you know what I mean? Flags like that. They're kind of hard to make. And that sucks, because flags like that are my favorite flags, but they're so hard to make in Minecraft. Anyway, we get them like this. And there's like a little cross on each end. So the best way to represent that is with this little diagonal line. And that will give us our Maryland flag. Alright, we have Massachusetts here. You know the drill. We're gonna pop in this and get our nice little dot, and that is Massachusetts. So since I'm in creative mode, I can just spawn in new things, but if you're on survival mode, you're gonna need to be careful that you do this in the exact right order. So, let's try this again. We're gonna start with the brown dye and our flower charge pattern. That's what we're gonna start with. Then, we're gonna get our yellow dye in here. Like so. Then we're going to get our thing. And then you know the drill from here. You know how it goes. We're gonna get our border. And then we do sides, bam. And bam. And now we have our Michigan flag. After that Michigan flag, we have a really easy one. Minnesota. We're gonna pop in our stuff. And that is Minnesota. Alright, Mississippi is giving us more of a challenge, but it's nothing we can't do. We get our red on this end. Our blue, we will get on this end. And then we get our red going across like so. And that will give us Mississippi, actually. I said Michigan on accident, didn't I? I meant Mississippi. Next up is Missouri. Still a pretty easy flag. We're going to get our blue on this end. And then we're gonna get our red on this end. And we get a nice little circle in the middle. And that will give us Missouri. Next up, we have Montana. Pretty easy to do here. Or actually, is it? So like the seal, like, you know how I was doing it on this end? So Montana is different. It has the letters of the state on top of the little seal thing. So it's basically the same procedure, just a little bit different. Circle. Thing on the top. And then you know what to do from here. And there is Montana in Minecraft. Nebraska, another one of those states where it's just like, come on, you can make a better flag. There's Nebraska in Minecraft. Nevada, this one is a little more unique. But still nothing we can't do. We get our blue banner. Our yellow dye, we get this little symbol in the corner. I believe it's meant to be a star. Anyway, we get this little thing to make it look more like a star. And then we get the border around it so it's not attached to the corner. And that is Nevada. Next up is New Hampshire. Another one of those flags. How many times am I gonna say this video? Just another one of those flags where it's all the same. Next up is New Jersey. I believe this is the only one that's brown. Anyway, now we're gonna get into like all the new states. So, from now on, you're gonna be hearing a lot of new. And just like I said, New Mexico. This one is actually pretty hard to make. Or, I mean, if you know what you're doing, it's not that hard. We start off with a red cross. Then we have to kind of, like, disconnect it from the sides, if that makes sense. And that will give us New Mexico in Minecraft. Next up is New York. I think I went a little too all out on this one. But I kind of, because like the New York flag, it has like one guy standing on one side, one guy standing on one side. They're standing on clouds. And then they're like holding up the seal of the state. It's a very cool flag. I went all out on this one. And therefore, I might mess it up when I'm trying to make it. But let's hope that does not happen. So from the looks of it, what it looks like I did, I got yellow dye on one end, like this end. I believe I got light blue dye on the other end, like so. I might mess this up. Alright, all looking good so far. Then we get yellow dye in the center. Then we get our blue dye, I believe, and come across here. I believe that's right so far. Yep. Excuse me if I mess it up. I'm not trying to. We get our white dye, because they're standing on clouds, right? And then to wrap it all up, we get a nice border. Alright. That is the New York flag. I went a little all out on this one. If you don't like the way it looks, that's fine. You can change it. I just tried to make it look cool. I think it's a good flag. I tried to do it some honor. Now we are out of the news with North Carolina. North Carolina's a pretty cool flag. I like it. It's very unique. It's actually similar to the Texas flag. Anyway, we are going to pop in here. We are going to get our red. Make sure that... Oh, I put it on the wrong side. Dang it, Striker, you messed up your own state. Alright, let's try that again. Red goes on this end. Blue dye goes up here. And I'm not sure, yeah. Because there is two options. You can make it, like, go halfway across. Or only a third of the way across. But for North Carolina, we're going to make it go a third of the way across. Next up is North Dakota. This one is very interesting. And it requires a lot of different dyes. But it's basically the same trick with all the borders and all that. So, we are going to start off by getting our brown dude in the middle. Our brown roundel. Then we're going to get red on the bottom. Yellow on the top. We'll get something that looks like, almost like the Columbia flag. Then we are going to do our thing. You know what we do. We get our border. We get this side. This side. And we have North Dakota. Next up is Ohio. So the Ohio flag's interesting. It's like diagonal, and then it like cuts off at the end. And unfortunately, I cannot recreate that in Minecraft, but this is the closest we can get. We can get our white stripes. Our blue dye, we can go here. And that is the Ohio flag. We're on to Oklahoma now. This one's pretty easy if you've been following so far. We get our brown dye in the center. We get the little text at the bottom. A lot of the states are the same, just different colors. They all have like a little circle in the middle, and then they have like text going across. They're all very similar, but I mean, that makes sense because they are the United States. They're not the totally different and disconnected states of America. Because that would not make a catchy name, would it? Next up is Oregon. So this one's a bit different. The text, it's like, instead of just saying Oregon, it says like more than Oregon. I don't exactly remember the words, but it's like more text, so it goes like across the entire flag. So it's a little bit different for this one. The procedure is a little bit different, but it's still one and the same. Circle in the middle. Thing going across. Then we're going to... What are we gonna... Okay. So, I tried to recreate like the little curvy text effect. I tried my best. We get these little diagonal things. And we have the Oregon flag. Next up is Pennsylvania. Another one of those flags where it's just a dot in the middle. There is Pennsylvania. Oops. Next up is Rhode Island. This one is another one where it's just a dot in the middle, but they changed up the colors. And I mean, hey, that's respectable, don't you think? Rhode Island. This is South Carolina. This is a flag I tried to do good on. It came out decent. There's like a palm tree and then like a star. I tried to make it. It went decently. So, we start with our circle. This is like the palm tree leaves. Then we get this thing going across. It's like the trunk of the palm tree. And what do we do now? I believe now we have to do the thing. I'm not sure. Like, no, not that, though. Like this. To get our palm tree. Yeah, we're doing it right. And then we got our star. And we get our thing to make it look more like a star. And that is the South Carolina flag in Minecraft. Next up is South Dakota. It's yet again another flag where it's just a dot in the middle. You know how it goes. Next up is Tennessee. It has a dot in the middle, but it's that little trick that I showed you a while ago where we do like the outline thing. White first, then blue, and we will have a nice white outline for Tennessee. Next up is Texas. I accidentally made the Texan flag when I was trying to make the North Carolinian flag. They're very similar, okay? They're very, very similar. Just that the Texas flag is on the other side, like this side. And then we get our blue coming across the top. And that is Texas. Next up is Utah. We're going to do that outline trick again. We get the blue, the yellow first. Whatever you want to be the color of the outline always goes first. That's just tips for flag making in Minecraft. And that is Utah. Next up is Vermont. It's another one of those flags. And we put it there. Oh, look, it's Virginia. It's another one of those flags. I've noticed the majority of flags in the US are just like... Or, I mean, the number of... The most amount of state flags in the US They're just like blue backgrounds. I don't know if I noticed that or not, but I notice it now, so I guess I do notice it. Next up is Washington. I believe the only green flag in the United States of America. Pretty simple, but hey, they tried to change it up, so that's worth it. This flag has a border on it, which is very interesting. It's West Virginia. We get our dot in the middle. Border across. And West Virginia. Let's try Wisconsin again. We get our yellow circle in the middle. Then what we're gonna do... how do I do it? Okay, this is how you do it. You have to do it exactly in this way or it won't work. I think. We do it like this. Yeah. We shorten it, but we don't do the cutoff. The little border thing. We do that, so it's like thicker. Then we get that on this side. And then we do the border cutoff, like so. And I have an extra blue dye, and that is the Wisconsin flag. Our last flag of the United States of America is Wyoming, and it is a very easy flag to make. White dot in the middle, and a red border to finish it off. And that is Wyoming. That is all 50 states of the United States of America. I have remade the flags in Minecraft, and you know now how to make them. So if this helped you out, please be sure to subscribe, because this took a very long time to make. It would definitely be appreciated. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next video, and goodbye.